Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thinking into Results, day one. Hello, Rita. So good to see you. And let me know also if you can hear me in the comments. So, I want to welcome you guys to day one. Hello, Facebook user. Hello. Welcome to day one of Thinking into Results. So, today we are going to talk about the 12 principles in the Thinking into Results. You can hear me, Rita. Good. So I'm just going to give everybody a moment to see that I gone live. So it might take a couple of seconds, but as you're joining, say hello and make sure also you click the link above StreamYard. Hello, Lorianne. So good to see you. Hope you're doing good. So if you click the link above, I can actually see your lovely names. So if you make a comment, I see your name. Otherwise, it just comes up as Facebook user. So again, let me know where you're coming from and what is the time. South Carolina, so good. And then Rita is from Canada. I love it. So I want to let you guys know that we're streaming into LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. So, yes, we have gone wild. So, I'm so glad that you're here with me today. I really appreciate you taking this time to jump on this training, to let me help you to get to where you need to be. And it's going to be an incredible 3 days event. So make sure you have a pen and paper handy and make notes as you go along. From Boston, Facebook user. Cool. So let's start. Let's get into it. Are you guys ready? Thumbs up. Yep. Okay. I want to introduce this quote here from Steve Jobs. And he said something so good. So I really want you to listen to this. For the past 33 years, I've looked into the mirror every single morning and I asked myself, if today was the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And whenever the answer has been no for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. I want you to think about that as we take this journey here together, here tonight, for about 45 minutes or so. And I want you to ask yourself, are you doing what you love to do every single day? Or are you doing what you think you have to do every single day? Hello, Cherry. I hope I said your name correctly. So, do you love your job? Do you love your business? Do you love every aspect of your life? Financially, mentally, spiritually, and physically. And Steve Jobs is probably one of the most impactful visionaries of our time. And the secret was he never worried about the how, or if it was making money, or if it would work or not. So I want you to take out a notepad and write this down. Here's the first life changing concept on this webinar. And it really took me about 39 years before I learned it from my mentor. Everything starts with a dream or a vision, and then it's followed by a decision. It never starts with the how. If we knew the how, we would not be at this webinar tonight. We would already have everything we wanted in our life. So I really want you to burn this into your mind, because this one idea alone can change your life. You don't need to know the how. You don't need to know how you're going to get to your goals and dreams. You need to take the first step. And as you walk, you need to take action towards your goal. every day. You need to recommit every day. The how will be shown to you. So we need to decide what we want and then make a decision to start. My name is Ingjerd Jensen, again, if you don't know me, and I want to welcome you to this introduction to something we call thinking into results. And I want to congratulate you for making the choice to spend some time here tonight. And I know you could have been watching TV, you could have been doing a million things. So I want to thank you for coming on this training. Today, I want to share with you some of these ideas on wealth and your human potential and your health that have really changed my life and the lives of others. But most importantly, when I say wealth, this is very important. When I say wealth, I'm not just talking about financially. I want to make that very, very clear. The true definition of wealth is really a balance of physical, mental health, a heightened awareness of spirituality, deep friendship, relationship, and love. It's a balance. It's being able to generate the amount of income that will magnifying the person that you already are and really allow you to live the life freely on your own terms. I heard a lot of people say, I don't need that much money, or money is not that important. Money isn't everything. And words like this comes from people who are simply unaware of how to earn a significant amount of money. So anytime I hear people say this, what they're really doing is advertising their ignorance about what money is. They are letting the money control them instead of them controlling the money. And some have a money paradigm. Some people think money is evil. Now, this may sound a little harsh, but just stay with me for a minute. The biggest disconnect here with people that don't understand how to build wealth is that they don't understand on a fundamental level what money is. And what that which we don't understand is always going to be foreign to us. If we don't understand something, we can never be in harmony with it. We can never attract it. You see, money is quite simply just an ID. It's green paper. It's energy in motion. It's no different than a rock, except with the exception of being a different atomic structure, with a different state of molecular vibration. So the first thing we really need to do is develop a healthy relationship with money and a deeper understanding of what money is and how to use it. So I want you to get comfortable. Grab a cup of coffee really quick if you want. And also make sure to grab a pen and paper and get ready to take some notes. Because I'm going to give you more value the next 45 minutes or so than you ever received on the webinar. So get ready. And again, for those of you who just joined now, my name is Ingjerd. And in this picture here, you see my mentor, Bob Proctor. And unfortunately, he passed away last year. For those of you who don't know Bob Proctor, he was the world's famous expert in human potential and success. Bob has created more millionaires and billionaires across a multitude of industries than any other person alive today. On this webinar, we're really going to develop your awareness on how to build success, no matter what it is. Whether you own your own business, or if success to you might be building a charity, or finding a relationship, or finding love. And I want you to think about something as we get started. 85% of a person's success is dependent on decision making skills and self image. 85%. There are no classes in school in any of these categories. Really think about that. Now, this means only 15% of our success comes from traditional education and careers and job skills, which is all the traditional schooling teaches us. Is it any wonder then why 1% of the world's population earns 96% of the world's money? I want you to really think about this. Don't just listen to the webinar. I want you to think. There are two types of people in this world: those who are entrepreneurs and those who work for entrepreneurs. Either way is fine, and I've been both. I'm not saying you have to run out and start 10 businesses, but unless you truly desire to be wealthy and free, you're going to have to start to think about what you really want. I've been blessed to work for myself since 2020 using the 12 principles you are going to hear about today, because I just didn't study them. I applied them. I tested them out and I embodied them. And I'm using them every single day. So let's start. What's in it for you? So, my goal here today is to really give you some ideas and philosophies that you're going to be able to take with you. My intention is really to teach you how to leverage and have freedom to live the life on your own terms, so that you can really enjoy things like traveling and living and being able to retire, maybe your spouse, your partner, or your parents, and creating a new business, maybe doing what you want, writing that book that you've been thinking about for a long time, or maybe moving abroad, finding love, being able to watch your kids grow up on a day to day basis, being present and involved in their lives. Or maybe you just want your own personal growth and just crafting a life that you decide you want to live. And most importantly, I think the biggest thing is really having an understanding of wealth and being able to give back. I'm also going to answer some of these questions. Why you and why now? And what's the sense of urgency? Why most people feel stuck and why they see other people succeeding all around them. Why we don't do the things that we already know how to do and we know we should be doing. That's a big one. Why nobody are talking about paradigms and how the paradigm controls almost everything in your life. Why people who have the best intention and the best work ethics can still end up failing in life. And I want you to really consider these questions here too. Do you really know what you want in life? I didn't know that one for a long time. I mean, is it written down? Do you know how to get it? Do you know how to get what you want? Do you know what controls your results? I didn't know that one either. And most importantly, do you want to do something about it? So we can have wishes and dreams and desires, but do you want to do something about it? I want you to ask yourself these questions. Are you so busy with your day to day trivia and the hustle between your job, the kids, and the bills? All these excuses that we make, that you don't have time to focus on building your own dream. And do you see people in life that seem to be crushing life on TV and everything just seems to go their way? They get the big house, they're going on vacation, they seem to work less than you while going on several vacations a year and owning multiple homes. And here's a big one. Do you see people in your exact same field of career being wildly successful and you feel stuck and underpaid? I mean, think about that one. We all seen that, myself included. And I used to wonder the same exact thing. If what I'm saying so far resonates with you guys, let me know in the comments. So you can type yes in the comment if this resonates or thumbs up. It's as simple as getting the right information. We don't get this information from school. You see, most people are extras in their own movie of life. And what we need to understand is that we need to be the stars of our own movie. Now, that may sound very ethereal. Just bear with me. Thumbs up, Rita. Just bear with me. We all know people that are excelling in life on all levels. And we look at them and we say to ourselves, well, that's just the way they were born. Or we think, what, why me? Why not me, right? I'm here to tell you that the difference between you and Oprah Winfrey and Beyonce or any other wealthy person, they simply have no limitation on their thinking. Instead of thinking, I could never do that, they think, I can do that. And then they find a mentor or a coach and they do exactly what they're told to do. They follow a system. The common denominator to success is that all of these people have coaches and mentors and they follow a roadmap. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Why me? Or how can I do that? The real question here is why not you? That's the question we want to be answering. So, what makes this content so different? You have seen things all over the internet and probably been to seminars. What makes this different? What I'm about to share has success principles, proven success principles from centuries of study with the most successful people in history. This is the science behind getting wealthy. And I've been studying and teaching these principles now for 2 years. I'm a certified coach under the Proctor Gallagher Institute that Bob Proctor and Sandy Gallagher created. So I'm certified to teach these principles. I'm a product of these principles. I was my best customer before I started teaching this. I didn't just study the principles, I applied them, I embodied them. These principles and the science behind getting wealthy, they have existed since the beginning of man and woman. And they were used by our founding fathers. And people like Thomas Edison used them to give us the gift of electricity, as well as over 200 other inventions. Henry Ford, he literally belted the earth in cars with these principles and made a fortune that lasted 5 generations that his family couldn't spend. And guess what? It wasn't schooling or anything that traditional schools or colleges will teach you. Henry Ford only made it to the sixth grade before he had to go to work for a living and make money for his family. The foundation and environment that we grew up in is broken. Think about this. How can a teacher making $50,000 a year teach any of us how to make 100,000 a month or 100,000 a week? Really think about it. I mean, it's no wonder we have a society that has absolutely no clue on how to earn money. I mean, guys, it's not even our fault, but now it is our responsibility to take action. Our educational system simply doesn't know the science behind truly educating a human being on how to prosper in this world. And guys, I'm not picking on teachers of the school system. I have the highest respect for teachers. They're doing the best they can, working with their handcuffs on in a broken system. And they are not taught how to build wealth and how to teach people on decision making and prosperity. And neither were our parents, unless you're the son or daughter of Warren Buffett or something. And this goes on and on for generations, going backwards. It's a perpetuating cycle, you see? The 1% of the population that understands how to be truly wealthy, they get their education from other mentors, people who have studied and achieved the wealth they desire outside the school system. And again, they follow a proven system. So again, it's not even our fault. It's not my fault that I went 39 years and I found myself struggling mentally and physically and financially. And it's not your fault if you're struggling mentally or physically, at least up until now. You see, there's a huge difference between ignorance and stupidity. Ignorance is not a negative term. Ignorance is simply not knowing. I mean, we're born ignorant, right? Stupidity is knowing something and not taking action on it. Well, guys, after tonight, we're no longer going to be ignorant. Now, Napoleon Hill wrote the book I know many of you probably have read and heard about, Think and Grow Rich. And it's based on these exact principles. And he is really bringing it forward into the 20th centuries. And again, bringing them forward to today is no other than Bob Proctor. And Bob spent his whole life after he discovered these principles teaching people how to create wealth for themselves. Why now? That's another question. And honestly, the answer of why now? How long have we all been saying that I need to make more money in my job or this one when the kids get out of school, when we get a better financial position, or the biggest one, when I get out of debt, I will grow my business. Then I will start investing in my future and myself. These are the common thoughts of the masses, and 97% of the people think of these good ideas, but they never put them into action. So the why now, put simply, if not now, then it will never be. We always say now is the time. It is as simple as that. Everything in life starts with a clearly defined goal and a decision. The first thing we need to do is learn how to make a decision. The schools and the current education systems, they don't teach us how to make decisions. Just to ask yourself this simple question. Have you ever sat down and made a decision that you are going to be successful? That one shocked me when I asked myself, because I had never made that decision. Or are you the type of person when you hear of an opportunity at work or a side business, you're saying, let me think about it? Most people say, let me think about it, are not in touch with their higher mental faculties of the intuition. When we say, let me think about it, what we're really saying here is, let me make a decision not to decide. And Napoleon Hill calls this the silent killer of man. And what we're really doing here when we say, let me think about it, is we're making a decision to procrastinate. Let that one sink in. I'll say it again. When we say, let me think about it, we're really making a decision not to decide. Now, guys, here's another obvious secret of the wealthy and successful people. They make decisions fast, using their intuition instead of using their conscious mind. You might want to write that one down. Successful people make decisions fast, using their intuition instead of using their conscious mind. I talk about the science of getting wealthy, but where's the proof? Maybe I just got lucky at 39 and made a quantum leap by accident. Success is a system based on universal laws that none of us know about. And we all need to all we need to do is get educated on the universal laws which governs our world. There are two choices. We can either study them and learn how to work with them in harmony, or we can remain ignorant. And by default, we are working against them. So, why is this so important? It's important because if you're not deliberately creating new habits and working with these laws, hello, Facebook user, then by default, you're creating bad habits and working against them. And over time, this becomes the way that we become programmed. Now, in life, we want to do better and we're going to get better results. But most people give up because they just don't know how. You hear it? They just don't know how. And these universal laws, they're not taught in school. And most people are just completely ignorant of them. I'm going to give you an example. Most people recognize the universal law of gravity. So if you're standing on the top of a building and you take a step off the edge, the universal law of gravity is going to impose a very severe effect on you. Now, whether you understand gravity or not, or believe in it or not, completely irrelevant. We can't see it, we can't explain it. All we do, we have theories, but we all know gravity is there. So we are conditioned to work with it, conditioned to be in harmony with it, because when we were little, we've fallen and we got hurt. So we learned to work with the confines of the universal law of gravity. And again, we're now in harmony with it. We can work with it, and we can really work with it to our benefit. And if you don't believe me, take a look at the airline industry. That's working with the universal law of gravity. There are 7 fundamental universal laws and dozens of secondary laws. We've got the law of vibration, we got the law of permutation, transmutation of energy. And I can almost guarantee most of you never heard of that one. We have the law of rhythm. We have the law of relativity. We got the law of polarity. and we got the law of cause and effect. And finally, we have the law of gender. Now ask yourself this. How much do you currently know about any of these laws that I mentioned? You may have heard of the theory of relativity from Isaac Newton, but I guarantee you probably don't know how to explain it. Now, what do you think about this one? Think about this. What do you think is happening to you every single day that we remain ignorant of these universal laws? Just think for a minute. If we ignore the universal law of gravity and step off a building, we die. So I ask you again, what do you think has happened to you every single day that we remain ignorant of these other 7 universal laws? I want you to understand that every single person that succeeded at a higher level are in harmony with the universal laws and the science. Even top sport athletes like Michael Jordan, they use these principles. Now the difference between Michael Jordan is he probably can't articulate how he got where he got. But I guarantee you, with no uncertainty, that he's using the same principles that we're talking about here today. Michael is what we call an unconscious competent. And what that means is he didn't know these principles. He couldn't articulate them. He was born with them. I haven't found any research or science that can really explain why some people are just kind of born with this and some are not. I mean, I wasn't, right? But I can tell you for a fact that it doesn't matter. You can learn how to change everything, anything you want in life. And Bob's motto is tell me what you want and I'll show you how to get it. It is as simple as that. So, guys, how great would it feel to finally have information that could impact your life and, more importantly, the lives of the people around you? Good. Thumbs up. So let's talk about Steve Jobs again. So Steve Jobs, remember I said he never worried about the how or if he was making the money or if it would work or not. He had a clear vision that he felt in his heart. And that took him from this little garage here, you see, and he had $750 in his pocket. And his vision was crystal clear. And that took him from the garage here to here, creating the world's largest company, the Apple Corporation, all by understanding these success principles. So, what's the difference between us and Mr. Steve Jobs? He was simply just using more of his inner potential. And we are all born with the same potential. We got infinite supply of this. We all were born with the same. And our results are a reflection of how much we're using our inner potential. We all have this gift locked up within us, waiting to be expressed. And if we don't know what they are, how are we ever going to use them? We all have heard the word inner potential, but we really have higher mental faculties also. And the people that are most successful are just using them. They're really using these God-given gifts and talents. And if you never really actually explored what you have to offer to this world, what are you good at? What you really want? I really want you to pause right now and ask yourself, how much of your potential are you using? Think about that one. And here's the answer. You look no further than your results for the answers. Your results is the reflection of the potential you're using. So if we want to use more of our potential, that's going to change our results right now. What do you think your life would look like if you spent the next 6 months studying these materials and these principles? All right, let's start with principle number 1, goal setting. But not goal setting the way you are probably been taught before. We've been programmed to set goals that we think we can achieve, small goals. We do this because of our fear of not achieving the goal. What happens in high school if you don't achieve the goal? You get ridiculed, you get bad grades. I remember that one. You don't make the team. And this is what we do. We bring that forward into adulthood. You might be somebody who's trying to lose some weight, and we set a goal of let's say losing 5 pounds because we know we can probably achieve that. It's extremely rare that some people set a goal of like starting a TV show, starting their own business, moving abroad, writing that book that you've been thinking about for a long time, and starting that course that you know that you're the only one who can do, and you know you're damn good at it. We are always thinking small. And we do this because of fear of failure, of not achieving the goal. We set small goals because we don't want to not achieve them. And we do this in business, in life as well. I've done this most of my life. We set goals of growing maybe 5% or maybe stretching to 10% in our business, but we would never dream of setting a goal in 12 months of growing 1,000%. How would we do that? Goes back to the how, and it goes back to that conditioning. You see how this works? The spiral that we create for ourselves. When we think of setting massive visionary goals, we immediately think, how am I going to do that? And then we stop thinking and we just go back into daily trivia of our lives. We call that bouncing off the terror barrier and going back into bondage. And we do this because we never done it before. And society tells us that it's absurd or crazy. And everybody are programmed to have an opinion about you. And we go to friends and family instead of finding people who have done what we want to do. And the people who have never done what you want to do, they tell you what they think you should do. And they are programmed like that. And they're not being cruel. Remember that they're programmed. And we go to these people for advice. Again, they have never done what you want to do. And we take advice like they are experts who have not done what you want to do. And imagine if Oprah Winfrey listened to her old boss at the radio station where she worked before she created the Oprah show. He told her that she was gonna fail. He was giving her all the reason why she should not leave the radio station. And you know what she said? She responded, if I don't try, I will never know. So, guys, we never been taught what the purpose of a goal is. The purpose of a goal is to grow and to stretch and improve your level of awareness or whatever you're trying to achieve. So, what is it that you really want? Whatever you see in your mind, you can have it, but you gotta want it. The next principle is called the knowing and doing gap. And this is where most of my clients make the big and the quickest and most impactful gain. I have a client who quit her job and she decided to become a coach. She also decided to start her own business where she was renting herself out. And she's now earning more money, working less in the same career that she had before, but she's renting herself out. And she's also renting out her apartment. And she's being paid to work at nice places. And they're also paying for the places that she's staying because they just love her so much. And also, she's moving to Spain. And the last goal she had was to build a retreat in Thailand. She's been building that retreat now for a couple of months. So, guys, how many of you have gone on a diet and then you find yourself in a restaurant or at a party and the dessert tray comes to your table and you see that piece of maybe it's cheesecake you like or chocolate cake, whatever it is, and you're on a diet, but you already decided you want to lose that weight. But you grab that cheesecake anyway, and down it goes. You see, we know we don't want the effect of eating the cheesecake and gaining the weight. And we know it's not good for us, but we eat it anyway. And this is where the major breakdown occurs. I mean, why do we do this? This is a fundamental question that most people cannot answer. Well, what I'm here to tell you is if you knew the science behind why this mental physical breakdown occurs, and you could correct it within minutes of understanding, I mean, how would that impact you? How would this one principle alone change your life? If you could close the knowing and doing gap. And we have so many things in our life that we know we should be doing, yet we still don't do them. The fundamental problem is that we're never taught how our subconscious mind controls this knowing and doing gap. And what I'm here to tell you is once you fix this, everything changes. How many are in a job here that you don't like? Thumbs up. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? A person who is a thinking person would never go to a job that they hate every single day. And again, I don't mean this in a negative way. I'm just trying to shed some light. We're literally not taught in school how to think. So the third principle has to do with understanding your subconscious mind and really how to strengthen it. And do you know that your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what is real or what is imagined? I mean, think about that. Your subconscious mind is like a garden, and whatever you're consciously planting in it will grow. So, what are you putting in your subconscious mind every single day? The fact is, if you're not purposefully studying and putting in good information in your subconscious, then the noise and the chaos of the outside world will be planted in there by default. It gets in by default. And this is why TV ads are so effective. They plant the vision in your mind through the spaced repetition of the content in your subconscious mind. And have you ever seen a TV ad run multiple times? Thumbs up. In a short period of times? Who have seen that? We see this all the time. Well, do you think TV programmers might understand a little bit how your subconscious mind works? Unfortunately, the masses have no idea of what is going on. And this is why I don't watch TV. So, what are you programming your subconscious mind with daily? You want to ask yourself that. Do you come home from work, cook dinner, and then you just lay down in the couch in front of the TV and watch TV? If you're doing that, that is getting into your subconscious mind. So, what if you just made a small shift from watching TV to committing that time to studying how wealthy people think? If you get nothing else out of this webinar or masterclass, just make that small shift. Try it for 6 months or a year, or watch what is happening to your life. So, principle number 4 has to do with unlocking your inner potential. And I know we all heard this before. It's kind of a clinch, but again, no one's really knows what that means down the core. We have over 11 million kilowatts of power locked up in the energy of the human body. And we are truly limitless beings. Yet most people are never taught how to unlock even a fraction of their inner potential. And have you ever heard someone say, I don't have energy, or I could use some energy? We don't get energy. We are literally energy. What we need to do is learn how to release it. And energy is literally flowing to and through us every day. And what we need to do is to decide how the energy leaves our body, whether it's positive or negative, just like electricity. And the biggest problem here is we're never really taught how to release energy in the first place. And we're not taught how to create. And all of this is already inside of us. We are literally born with it. And this is also why they say that 99% of all ideas or inventions are stillborn in the minds of men and women. Have you ever wondered how to unlock your inner potential? What if you knew the key? What if I told you that you were born with it all? That all you ever need to know and all you need to do is unlock it. I have found the key, and I really want to help you find yours. The fifth success principle here is what we call the trick to stay in charge, no matter what the circumstances are. Most people are products in their environment where they were born, their education, the people we're surrounded by, they literally molded our environment and us. And up until now, it hasn't been your fault. We're programmed to speak the language we speak, eat the food we eat. I give you an example. If the economy is in a recession, most people suffer and lose their income. They lose their job and they really react to the environment. But not a selective few, you see? We can teach people to create their own economy where it doesn't matter who's the president or what the job market is or what the stock market is doing. None of that. One of the best kept secret of the wealthy is the fact that you are literally in control of your environment, where you live, the job or business you work at, who you're living with. the level of fitness you are at. Everything is under your control. And as you learn to control your subconscious mind, you can literally begin to shift and create your own environment and your own economy. All right. The sixth principle here is based on understanding our self image and leadership. And we're definitely not taught anything about this in our educational system. If you think about it, if you knew this information at an early age, and again, one of the greatest example of self-image in modern day is Michael Jordan. And he literally painted such a strong self-image at 9 years old. He had posters all over his wall of being the greatest basketball player of all time. That is actually what happened. He literally willed that into existence. And guys, when it comes to leadership, you have to be coachable. You have to be a good follower before we become a great leader. And it starts by following somebody, being coachable. And you really need to learn to lead yourself also. And Michael Jordan followed coaches and other superstars. All the while, he was dreaming of being the greatest leader that ever lived, the greatest basketball player that ever lived. And when he started to be successful, he decided to hire a coach to get even better. And at this time, Michael was one of the best, but not the best. He had to follow a mentor, he had to get a coach who knew more about human body and mindset than he did. And you see, the mindset of highly successful people is that they're always growing even when they're great. They're always learning and trying to improve, even when they become very successful. And this is another fundamental difference between the mindset of the masses versus the mindset of the wealthy. So ask yourself, who are you following in life? And more importantly, have they achieved what you're looking to achieve? So ask yourself, what is your self image? And do you even have one? Most people can't ask that question. And can you clearly articulate it to someone without feeling embarrassed? Self image is the driving image to your future self. And all we have to do is learn how to build the true future self image of what we want us to look like. But how do we do that? It's a big question, and that is what I teach. Principle 7 is the biggest thing that stops people. And when we try to break out of our comfort zone, it's called the terror barrier. And we all felt this. We get an idea in our mind to do something big, either for a business, for example, or a new job. And you start to think about doing the idea or getting that new job. But then in your mind, this is what's going on. We say, how am I going to do that? And because we don't have the answers, we stop thinking and we forget the idea. It's called going back into bondage. Instead of going forward, we go backwards. So take a look and study this chart. You see here that your conscious mind thinks of doubt and worry, negative thinking. What if I fail? What will my friends and family think if I chase my goal? And then this is suppressed in your subconscious mind. And it produces a false feeling of fear in your subconscious. Then you See here, the fear is suppressed into the body and it forms the physical feeling of anxiety. So, how many of you guys have felt anxiety? I have felt that. This is exactly what is going on in your body here. And if this spiral keeps continuing long enough, that anxiety is suppressed into the physical body and it forms depression. That's what happened to me before I got into this material. This is how people get depressed. This is what's going on in your mind. And if that continues, eventually it forms disease, or like Bob used to say, dis-ease. Always hyphen that word, dis-ease. It's the body not at ease, responding to a negative environment. So let's take a look at how successful people think. They get an idea and they think, hell yeah, I can do that, right? They think I have this idea. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to figure it out. They just think that way. They think positive, and everybody around them thinks they're crazy for this new idea. But remember, 1% of the population earns 96% of all the money in the world. So by default, this means that 96% of the people that give you advice have no clue about what they're talking about. They have no idea whatsoever how to generate wealth. So why would we listen to them? Now again, in this picture here, this person has faith. They have gained knowledge through study and coaching. They have a faith-based mindset instead of fear-based mindset. They are only focusing on the positive instead of the negative. Both fear and faith are invisible thoughts. They're both a choice. So you literally have to choose faith over fear. This person takes a faith-based mindset and it produces action, which leads to results. And in this picture, this body and mind are at ease because this is a living, growing, thinking person pursuing a faith-based goal who really cares who really cares what people think. The question is, what do you want? That's the biggest question. And that is the only question you should be asking. So I love this little guy right here. This little fish is jumping out of the bowl, and I can definitely relate to him. Belief is the answer. And the eighth principle of success is aligning our actions with our new belief. It's not enough to simply gain the knowledge and read all the books. You need to embody what you're studying. You can learn from the best mentor in the world, and still nothing will happen. Nothing without aligning our new beliefs with behavior and taking actions. And it's called the power of praxis, aligning our beliefs with our new behavior and actions. And I can teach people how to take those first steps towards their goal. You can't see the 10th step from the bottom step, but you can see the second step from the first step. And that's all that matters. We need to take the first step, and then we take that first step, and everything begins to happen. And what you need to do is set that goal with a faith-based mindset and a belief. From personal experience, I can tell you one door will lead to the next. You don't have to know the how. And if you knew the how, again, We would already have figured it all out. So, the whole point of this thing we call life is to continuously grow and to stretch our abilities and to learn. And most importantly, is to help others learn and grow and give back. So, principle number 9 is attitude and perspective. Viktor Frankl was a Vietnamese Holocauster survivor who was in the Holocaust. He was in the concentration camps for 4 years. And he was surrounded by the most horrible condition that any of us could ever imagine. Yet, he chose to hold on to hope. In his mind, he said, "They cannot make me feel a certain way, no matter what they do to me physically." I mean, think about that. He chose to see good in his situation, and his perception is they couldn't take away his faith. They couldn't take away his belief or his hope, no matter how much they beat him and tortured him. Now, I want you to try something here. And I want you to ask you these questions. And I want you to really think. How do you perceive it when somebody cuts you off in traffic? Something as small as that. Do you lose your mind? Do you get angry? Do you react? Are you sending anger and hate through yourself? Remember, we are energy. If you ever caught yourself doing that, think about it and then realize this. You are not even affecting the other person whatsoever. All of that hate and anger is only affecting you, your vibration. So, success principle number 10 is about quantum leap thinking, one of my favorite lessons here. And a great example of this is the fly that struggles to get outside by trying to break through the glass window. We all seen this, right? The fly will buzz and bounce off the window, really desperately trying to get through the glass to the other side. And sadly, the fly has staked its life on trying to break through the window by trying harder and harder and harder. We all seen this, right? And the real irony here is with the simple shift in thinking, the fly could have just simply changed direction and flew effortlessly out the window just 12 inches below. And this is a classic metaphor, a classic example of humans, including myself for many years, thinking that working harder towards the same goal is the answer. And guys, we're programmed to think this way by our parents, again by society. Put your head down and work harder for 40 years and you will be able to retire. I mean, think about it. It's really the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would we do that? Why would we do this? Why would we think like this? What you want to do is find something you love, and then it won't feel like work at all. Principle number 11 here is called the impression of increase. And I absolutely love this one. Single-handedly changed my life, and hopefully I'm doing it here today with you. I love coaching teaching, and training. And whether you decide you want to work with me or not is really irrelevant, makes no difference. What I want to do is leave you with the impression of increase. I want to leave you with some ideas and some thoughts so that you start wondering, that I'm hoping will wake you up to life, and so that you can be infectious. And this is an amazing way to live. I give without expecting anything in return. And believe me when I tell you, this was not the way I lived most of my life. Simple things like smiling at people, giving a compliments because I meant it, learning to leave people with the impression of increase will come back to you. I promise you. So this is one of the universal laws, but most of the world is missing it. We need to give before we can receive. What we put out comes back to us. So if you're putting out lack and fear in a poverty-based thinking, guess what? You're going to get more of that in return. So give your time, give your friendships and your love. And yes, even your money to good causes, and watch what happens. This goes against everything we're programmed to believe. We always say to ourselves, how can I give money if I don't have money? You don't need to give money. You can give a card, you can give a smile, you can decide to give a compliment because you feel it. You can give your time. I can tell you, if you give love, you're going to get more love. If you give energy in the form of physical fitness, you're actually getting more energy. And even if you give money, even when you're broke, you will get more money. This is the universal law. If so, guys, ask yourself, when is the last time you did something for someone else without expecting something in return? And more importantly, when was the last time you did something for a complete stranger without expecting something in return? This is the law of increase, and this is part of the impression of increase. So the last and final principle number 12, is called the mastermind principle. And the reason why this is the last principle, because it's really compounding on all this information, is the most powerful principle for wealth building. And I want you to ask yourself a question. Do you know anyone who's making over $1 million a month, or have started a business that is successful, or love their job and they get a lot done and it doesn't feel like work for them? They're happy, they have a beautiful life, they travel when they want, everything just comes easy to them. If not personally, do you know anyone that's self-made or extremely wealthy? The one thing they all have in common is that they all understand the mastermind principle. They're leading people, they're owning companies in some shape or form. You're going to see that they're leading people, and this is all done through the mastermind principles. And this is really cool. Henry Ford had a row of 50 push buttons under his desk where he could summon any of 50 men at any time. And these people were highly educated in their individual field, whether it was financial or mechanical or electronical, whether it was whatever it was. He had a mastermind group that allowed him to have access to virtually every known principle in the automotive engineering at the time. Think about how powerful that is. Imagine if you had a group of people that you could bring ideas to them and they could help you bring these ideas to life. That's a mastermind group. Corporate boards and directors are mastermind groups for companies. And mastermind group is really just a group of people coming together in harmony with the same idea or the same goal in mind. They clear their minds of everything else except for the ideas or the solution they're trying to solve. So the way this works is two minds acts like three, just like battery. Three minds acts like five, and so on and so on. We all have ideas. So do you see how this principle all ties together? So guys, start to dream again. Take your ideas, figure it out. Figure out the missing part and start asking everyone for the missing piece. Follow a proven system. It's really that simple. And guys, if you don't know where to start, you have an idea, contact me directly. I'll literally help you bring that into reality. I'll help you start the process. And this is what I do for people. I help them bring their dreams and vision into reality. So I want to thank you guys for staying through. There was a lot of information here, but it was important for me to explain it for you and get you to understand it. So watch this over again if you can. Repetition is key. So tomorrow we are going to open up your imagination and we are going to figure out what you truly, truly want, what your desire is, and what your goal is. And then we're going to write it down. And on Thursday, we are going to talk about self-image. All right, guys, I want to thank you so, so much for joining today. And I want you guys to just, what do I want you guys to do? Relax and be very proud of yourself that you stayed here, that you stayed through this, because I know I gave you a lot of information. So I wish you a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday evening, wherever you are, or morning, wherever you are. If you're in LA, your time is probably 10 a.m. or something. In New York, it's close to 1 p.m. So thank you. And I see you tomorrow, and we're going to find out what you truly, truly want. So today, there's no homework, but tomorrow there will be homework. So have a beautiful day and bye.